can't wait.
You get to rant about Dyson Daniels. Before getting into the show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This podcast is presented to you by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Pro Pels Talk. Chris Connor, I'm gonna give this one to you.
To me?
You get it
Wow.
first. Dyson Daniels looks good.
Does he?
He looks good.
There are some people on this show, and it's a summer league game. I don't care, but if I'm not allowed to act outrageous about a summer league game, about what was it, a 13-8-3 stat line, what am I allowed to do? The title says Dyson Daniels looks confident, but I've gotten audience, those that are here, Ross, I've gotten so many calls from two people that are here, text messages as well. Okay, you see how uncomfortable Lito looks right now? He knows what I'm talking about. That's body. I'm a body language expert. That's an uncomfortable man because he knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Dyson Daniels looks terrible. Dyson Daniels can't dribble. Dyson Daniels don't look at the rim. Now he looks confident. We're saying positive things about number 11. Lito, are you gonna grow your hair out? Are you gonna get a matching hairstyle like Dyson? Are you gonna buy a number 11 jersey?
First off, don't ever talk about how comfortable my body is.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm not taking a victory lap over a summer league game at all. I'm just saying I'm buying the stock. As I said earlier, I think I like to see him, take advantage of, whatever opportunity is in front of him offensively. He's going to be great defensively. The shot is going to be streaky. He's not going to be. I think he's going to shoot 33% from three. That just is what it is. But look, man. I believe in what the kid's going to be able to do year two. They're going to give him consistent minutes, consistent opportunity, and hopefully he continues to build off of the confidence that he seems to be building just by being out there playing basketball.
Yeah. Lito, Dyson, he, as Chris said, and I completely agree with you, Chris. He's still struggling from deep. He's still struggling from deep, but he's shooting it. Pause. God damn it. I was trying to.
Struggling from deep, but he's shooting it. It's crazy. Go ahead.
So he's struggling from the 3-point line. But other than that, he's playing very well. It seems like he's playing more downhill and more with purpose. Do you see that?
I got positive things to say about Dyson Daniels tonight.
Just
give me a second.
Do you?
If you just give me a second. Can you mute this, Justin? Can you mute his mic?
Can I show my text messages?
I figured out how to do it. All right. So so listen. Dyson has great vision. Dyson has great vision. I still don't believe Dyson's a guard, which is my only knock, right? Because the other night on here, I was talking about how he was going to be an NBA defender, or he has the potential to be, NBA defender. He had a play tonight where he got the two-hand dunk, and I think Dyson might have had 2 dunks last year, and I ain't never seen him dunk with both hands. So, that was crazy for me. But he was throwing some hell of a passes. I think he had
a
lob to Carlo that was beautiful. That shit had it was beautiful. I think Dyson had 8 assists. Justin, this is one of them games when you look at the box score, he only had 10 points, right? But he played a solid game. I was really pleased with his game tonight. And I didn't get a chance to talk about the last game, but I want to say Dyson is probably going to be, if JV's still on the team as training camp starts, Dyson might be the second best rebounder on the team.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow. Also, Lito, he has 6 blocks in 3 games.
Yeah, man. Southpark Steakhouse.
But he doesn't score, so it doesn't matter, right? I can't believe you. I cannot believe you two. You two on the left. I'm glad that you guys are separated in this section that you are on my screen. I can't believe you, Ross. Anything.
I'm trying to get Ross.
I just gave a man a compliment. I gave a man a compliment. I don't understand.
You guys are being so generous. These games, look. I'm happy that I guess he's looked all right. Do I sound terrible?
Yes.
Let me fix this situation. Hold on.
Pro Pels Talk live at just coming live. Chris, let's get into our second segment. Ross, do you want to come back in? Okay. I think Ross is coming back. Go ahead, Ross. Yeah. Okay.
It's just unbelievable that I can't figure this out. I mean, but
you good.
Chris, we're going to you. Jordan Hawkins, he struggles from deep. He shoots about 20% from deep in the first 3 summer league games. Do you worry about that or no?
No, I mean, look, man, I like the Dyson talk is, is fun and everything, man. But it's just, again, like, this is some really bad basketball. It's a lot of, I won't call them bad basketball players, but, it's just not a lot of these guys won't be playing NBA basketball, right? And there's a lot of individuals just trying to figure out, they might be auditioning for new teams, maybe auditioning for the team that they're on, just trying to find their way, maybe auditioning overseas, right? So it's hard to look at some of these players that we know are going to have futures when surrounded by a lot of just unorganized, just ugly, open run style of play and really make, I guess, grand proclamations of sorts. With Hawkins, man, you just want to see him just continue to shoot. I think as long as the mechanics, the good thing with him is that he doesn't really change anything, right? I mean, if he goes, whenever the night arrives where he's 6 for 6, like his shot is going to look the same from the night he went 3 for 8 or 1 for 6 right now. So he's, a little struggle. He's struggling a little bit, to start summer league. Maybe he'll have a game in which, it works. But I mean, for me, I'm still at the, I'm thinking that I don't know how many minutes he's going to play regardless. And if he does play, I mean, he's not going to be dribbling the basketball. Right. He's not going to be in situations where he's having to make a bunch of plays as a creator. He's going to have his struggles defensively, and he's going to have to eventually put on some weight. But the one thing that I know he has to do, and I know he's going to do, he won't shy away from, is shoot the basketball. And those looks are going to look a lot different when they're surrounded by actual NBA talent that knows exactly what he means to the team, knows what he means to the roster, along with the type of, I guess, attention that some of the offensive talented players, CJ, Zion, Trey, and BI will, require. Ross is in another room. So he'll be fine, man.
Well said. Lito, do you think, okay, so as a shooter, right, he's been struggling from the field. How do you get out of that? What's a way, like, what do you want to see Jordan Hawkins do in game 4 to kind of get him going? Because I feel like he just comes out and starts kind of just shooting, and it's kind of like the saying, shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot, but he's struggled as of late. What would you like to see different in game 4?
None. Keep shooting. Like, I want you to keep shooting. First of all, I like to say that Chris Conner is a piece of shit. But I want to say, as far as Jordan Hawkins, I like to say that, I guess the one thing he could do to get out of the slump, go get a layup, right? Go get a layup, get some contact, maybe shoot a free throw. That way, like, you get to form shoot without actually the pressure of shooting the 3, under the lights, right? But to be honest, I don't want to see him do nothing different. I want him keep letting them hoes go, let it fly. Like just yeah, you good. I just want him to just keep shooting, just keep being aggressive like that. I don't really care about the misses. I know I can see the form. I think we talked about this. I like the process. I like the process. So to see him seeing what shots he can get, and if he looks comfortable shooting it, that's good enough for me. The shots eventually gonna fall.
Yeah, Ross, what have you seen from Jordan Hawkins?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what the guys have just said. It's hard to, like, the one thing he's supposed to be able to do is shoot, right? And he's just this isn't gonna in any way mimic, I think, what would be expected of him in minimal minutes this year, and it's not going to look anything like this for him. Like, so it is what it is. Yeah, he's not making shots. Like, but he's also like taking some shots he wouldn't normally be taking. I don't know, man. The Chris said it. Let's be honest. The basketball's been really bad. It's been bad ball to watch. So I don't know, man. I'm not really taking anything away from this, at all. Like,
okay, yeah,
I hate to say that, but it's just like it really is. I mean, if you took anything away from tonight's game, you're lying to yourself. It was horrible to watch.
Yeah.
It really was. It was horrible to watch.
It was tough. Let's get to the last segment. Presented by Company Burger, located at 4600 Freret Street.
The
Chris,
last segment, Justin. Damn, we don't got nothing else. This is just it.
It's a quick hitter.
That's crazy. Go ahead.
How do you? Well, go ahead.
Well, okay. Chris, you and Ross. We'll go Chris Ross, and then we'll go to Lito. But y'all get to talk about Zion. Me and Lito did last night. What are your thoughts on what he said on the Gilbert Arenas podcast, and then also showing up tonight? What is that? What are you seeing from that?
My thoughts is that Lito's a terrible human being. I mean, he thinks that Jordan Hawkins is a better basketball player than Dyson Daniels because Dyson doesn't score. Like those are my thoughts. Zion, yo, bro, man, good for. I heard a dude that is aiming to take ownership, aiming to speak for himself, aiming to inform the fan base, inform the world of some of the things that maybe he's learned. And, so often with Zion, we get stories from other folks, right? And so often to where when you hear Zion speak, people think or believe or have heard that, or someone's telling him to say that. Him pulling up to a Gilbert Arenas podcast and talking about some of the things, answering the questions that he did, there was no way he could, in my opinion, really prepare for it. Those didn't feel like PR written, statements or responses. Those sounded genuine. Now, action has to, follow it, right? We have to see these things and really and really dive into if he's just saying what's right for the moment, or if he's truthfully working behind these things to make sure that his process and his preparation, all these things are different going into, was it year 5 now? But I think it was just good at worst for him to pull up, completely surprising everybody, from that to that kind of setup, that kind of platform, taking in those questions. And I think he kind of hit all of the responses that he gave out of the park. They sounded genuine, and I'm happy that it's him doing it, and not his stepdad or his agency group or anyone else.
Well said, Ross.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris kind of hit it. I thought the important stuff he said was that it was really just him taking ownership of the situation. Him said, like, I don't remember the exact words he used, but something along the lines of like, I know this hasn't gone well, or like, I know I'm messing up, like whatever that line was. But it was a line of acknowledgement of like, yeah, I could have done better. Like, that's really all people, like the average fan wants to hear is like, it's cool. Like, we get it. You were 20. Like, you know how much dumb shit I did when I was 20 and 30 for that matter. But that's here nor there. Like, and that's really what people just wanted to hear. Like, if you, because to me, accepting that level of accountability for your own actions tells me you care enough to do it, right? Because if you didn't care, you'd be like, it ain't my problem. And so I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of maturing happening there. Look, we've already heard from other players that he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think that's a reasonable response to what's happened over the last year. So I don't know. I mean, for me, with Zion, it's never really been about his words because he just doesn't say a lot. So that's why I think this speaks, is a little more important, but it's going to be about his actions. How does he show up? How does he look in preseason? I think him being there in Vegas, like sitting on the sideline today, like it does mean a little something. So it's still going to be about his actions and not his words, but it was nice to hear him. It was refreshing to just take ownership of like, yeah, it hadn't gone great, but I'm doing things to fix the way things have gone. And like, that's really all you can ask for.
And Ross, he looked comfortable. Like, when you watch Zion, and any of these interviews or him talking to a lot of these players, he looks uncomfortable, right? It's someone who just he looks shy. He looks I don't know, man. He looked really, really relaxed sitting down having that conversation, talking about some tough things, right? Talking about some things that I'm sure hit home, right? I mean, I wouldn't have expected him to talk about dieting or talk about the hurdles that he's had to overcome with that and making, and bringing in the money into the factor and so on and so forth. It was just cool to shit, he cursed. I mean, he's I mean, he just seemed to be relaxed in that setup, in that format, on that platform. And I think it, like Ross mentioned, we got to see action behind it, but it's good to see that he looks like he's in a good place physically and mentally. And what is going to be another important season for him and his franchise.
Yeah. Lito. Like, I know you talked about it a little bit last night, but back-to-back appearances in public looked happy.
Go him, man. Be human. Be human, man. I like to see it. You know what I'm saying? Go out, enjoy your life being a young millionaire, bro. Like don't let nobody take this moment from you, because you're gonna live in the shadows and shit, and you go look back at this time and be like, I should have celebrated this more. I should have lived in this moment. I should have been a part of going to summer league with my guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, your NBA career is like finite. You don't know what tomorrow is gonna hold as far as anything. And like I get and this is not, I'm not dissing him. I'm just saying from a perspective of somebody who has like lived this life. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm just saying, like, somebody, cause I'd be incredulous. Y'all be sick. You thought Zion was never mind. Yo, listen, I always say this: God knows who to make rich. I say that all the time. Like, he knows whose hands to put money in. But for real, like, Zion, man, listen, I understand how anxiety could be going into places like, Summer League or TV podcasts and all these other things, yo. But like, it really felt like, to echo what Chris and Ross said, it really seemed like he was just comfortable within himself. And I think that's the difference. And, like, he was sometimes he comes off as cliche-ish. Sometimes you don't feel like you get his authentic self. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a long time, I feel like we were wondering who Zion Williamson was, because we get the brand Zion, like, when he's in front of the camera, but like, man, sometimes you gotta peel back the layers of shit and just let people know who you are. And yo, yeah, I'm struggling with my diet. Yeah, yo, who the fuck ain't? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like, just because you're in the NBA, that don't make it easier. Just because you're a supreme generational athlete, like, none of that gets easier for you, because you have more access and more influence, and you could literally you could wake up today and say, hey, you know what, I want to go to South Africa. Like, I want to do this shit. Like, I don't even want to be in this country. Just like things like that I feel like, and I think him talking to basketball players, retired basketball players, somebody like Gail, who, I mean, you know what Gail went through, what happened with Gail, and I feel like maybe it's that type of platform where he feel he could be open and honest about. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying all that to say, Zion, dog, if you want to talk, like, I got a podcast, like, we'll chop it up. So, like, it's all good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that'd be awesome. I love that. Chris, let me ask you this. What does it mean for Zion to see people like Larry Nance, Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum talk about him, and only in a positive way, especially on national media platforms? Obviously, you had Larry Nance in the tweet yesterday. Trey Murphy was getting interviewed in Summer League, said that, he has a chip on his shoulder. I'm talking to him every day. And then CJ, obviously, I forget, a couple weeks ago on a podcast. That's got to feel good for Zion to have his teammates basically knowing that they got his back.
If you're in a situation where you're constantly being criticized for every move you make or you don't make, your career hasn't gotten off to the start that you expected or that you planned for it to. And yo, man, I mean, under that microscope, I don't care who it is, you need the support. And I think you need the public support because there's so much public criticism, right? They may not be coming from your teammates, but it's coming from fans. It's coming from other former players. It's coming from, and maybe in some cases, former teammates, and it's loud. And you hear that constantly over and over and over and over again. That's a big weight to hold. On top of all the expectations that you have for yourself, and you're a part of a brand, you're a part of the future of a franchise. Some would still call them the face of the franchise. So you need as much support as you could possibly get. And I think that I'm more than sure that he gets it that he gets the support in the right places, offline or privately, but hearing not just your teammates, but your veterans come out and publicly support you and take up for you and stick up for you when not a lot of people are consistently. I mean, I think it's important for that person's psyche. We've heard him talk about, we've heard the stories about him and Teaspoon and, and the crying and the mental health element. Like, that's real, being that young, trying to figure this whole thing out. Life, right? It's tough. So having veterans that you got to go to work with, that you go into battle for every day, regardless of what y'all have been through, for better or for worse. And it's like, I mean, I think about this. I thought about this the other day. Like, I mean, Zion just might have to be reminded that he's not a fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's at some point, if you're a Zion, like, I thought about, like, yeah, I might start thinking I'm just a fuck up. Like, I might. So to be reminded that, no, I'm not a fuck up. This shit happens. I'm young. I got to figure this out. But these people support me when maybe portion of the world doesn't. The people that know me have my back. I mean, I think it goes a long way for somebody in his shoes.
Ross, go ahead.
No, yeah, I think just to piggyback on what Christian said too, and I think it's doubly important. I'm not going to delve into the dude's personal life, but like, it's doubly important when you're now dealing with, like, the criticism. Some of the criticism you're receiving is like off the court stuff. It's one thing to play like shit and have a bunch of people be like, yeah, dude's playing like shit. It's another to have people start like digging into your personal life, digging into your, what you've got going on with your family or your whatever, right? And so I think getting that, like, positive reinforcement, positive support from guys that are older than him, that have sort of been through some of these things, have had teammates go through some of these things, that like can bring you together, I think, in a way that maybe even like basketball stuff can't. So that's really, I think, for me, what I take away from it.
Lito, go ahead.
Speaking as somebody who was a fuck up, I can totally relate to what Chris just said. Like, sometimes you do shit happens, like life be life, and you get caught in listening to your subconscious, and like, that's the thing that never really cuts off. It never stops talking. Like, you can't silence it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do whatever you want to do, but if you're not in a good space mentally, like, all you're gonna focus on is the negative, and that's gonna impact everything. Let's go throw your whole shit out of whack. So yes, you should be surrounded by love. You should be surrounded by people who have, like, good intentions for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe that's where, he got out of line with his, maybe he was surrounding himself with people who didn't have his best interests at heart. And it sounds like he realizes that, and it sounds like he's on a path now to improve that. I want to say one thing, Justin, when you talk about yesterday, why Rick Bucher be lying?
That was weird.
Like, why you lie like that? Rick, look at me. Rick, you lie. You're a liar. We don't like that. We don't like that down here, Rick. Don't do that. Don't do that, Rick. We got video evidence. We got proof of that. Like, we see the floaters. We see the jump. He shot jumpers in games, Rick. What are you doing?
But that's why I love, and that's why I love Larry Nance going to bat for him. That's going to go a long way. I like seeing the guys get behind Zion, and I think it's huge that Zion's making
That's
public
crazy.
appearances.
It's crazy.
Oh, jeez. You know, presenting my company. I'm learning, Lido. You can't. It's positive reinforcement. What does Coach Green say? I'm not trying to tear you down. I'm trying to build you up or some bullshit. I don't know. Give me something like that.
All right.
Whatever.
All right.
Like, comment, subscribe. Love to hear your thoughts on Zion Williamson and Dyson Daniels. Talk to y'all later.